Welcome to War Thunder with Subdude. How y'all doing today? Well, just a battle going on in the background from Afghanistan. And I'd like to talk about what I would like to see come as far as the American lineup goes. Now, we've got an Air Force lineup, which still has lots of holes in it. Most notoriously, we're missing the F-105 Thunder Chief, the F-101 Voodoo, and a couple of other ones that are Korean War era fighters, interceptors, if you will. And yeah, I'd like to see them come. But naval lineup is something I'm more comfortable with, I guess is the best way to put it. And what I keep looking at the fighter lineup, and I see so many people saying, I want the Cutlass, I want the Cutlass. And I keep going, why would you want the gutless Cutlass? And nobody really has a real good answer for that. The Cutlass is, for all intents and purposes, a failure by Vought. It was underpowered, even with two engines. Even the second iteration of it was still underpowered, which means it's not going to have any acceleration. It'll have a fair top end, but it's not going to have a whole lot of acceleration. And that's that in the landing gear. That high, long, spindly front landing gear is just absolutely ridiculous. So landing is going to be one of those things that's just not going to be real pleasant even on land, because it's going to have a very high angle of attack for landing, let alone when it takes off. Another plane that I really would like to see come is the Skyray, the F4D, not the A4D, but the F4D. Tailless configuration. It is a interceptor for the Navy. Not bad. It would be a good plane. 4 missiles, Sidewinders, or Sparrows. Decent plane. I wouldn't mind having it in the lineup. Are we expected to see it? Maybe, but I don't know. This is one of those planes that's kind of iffy. We might get it, we might not. It all depends upon what the developers have got in the pipeline. And that kind of brings us to the one plane that we are most definitely supposed to have sometime soon. I would hope soon. And that would be the F-8 Crusader. Now, that is a plane that we really have needed for a while. And as far as naval planes go, I don't think that there's a fighter jock out there that wouldn't love to get his hands on the F-8 Crusader. Now, hopefully they won't give us the F-8A or the F-8B. I would really rather see something like the F-8E. But, you know, that's all up to the vagaries of Gaijin. One thing that comes with the F-8, though, is the AIM-9C. If you don't know what the AIM-9C is, it's a Sarah missile, semi-active radar homing. And it would be interesting to have an AIM-9 Sarah missile as one of the missiles available in the Crusader. And the Crusader was the only aircraft actually armed with the AIM-9C. Now, there's no record of any kills with it, but those records, who knows? It might have been an AIM-9C, it might have been an AIM-9B that they used. It might have been an AIM-9G. But the thing is, the plane was the only one ever equipped with the AIM-9C. And I think it would be absolutely great to have the AIM-9C with the Crusader. You could have a weapons loadout of 2 AIM-9Cs and 2 AIM-9Bs or Ds. Ds would probably be more appropriate. And then it could also carry other things like bullpups. It could carry bombs. I mean, all naval planes are bomb trucks at the same time as being fighters and interceptors. I think that AIM-9J is dead already. Yep, he did. But those are the things I'd like to see. Now, one of the other planes I'd really like to see coming is the Grumman the Grumman Intruder, the A6 Intruder. Talk about a plane that could carry a massive bomb load. It was right up there with the Buccaneer as far as bomb loads go. Absolutely amazing how much that plane could carry into the sky. And it's a plane that could also carry self-defense missiles, a couple of AIM-9s. I'm not sure what variety, but I would say Ds probably. AIM-9Bs at a minimum. But the plane was definitely the pinnacle of being a bomb truck in the Vietnam War. It could carry air-to-ground missiles. It could carry the anti-radiation missiles, Shrike, Harm. It could carry standard missiles, the anti-radiation standard missile. I believe it was actually outfitted with Harpoon a couple of times. So it was definitely a capable platform for ordnance. No gun, so that makes life a little bit tough, but if you're a dedicated Buccaneer driver, you're probably already aware of how tough life can be without a gun. And that G91 failed. Smart man. Here I come. Fat, dumb, and happy, looking to find him, and he's not there. So I'll take a break. But that's pretty much what I wanted to get into. All right, we're back in it, and we're in Korea this time. But there are other planes that I would like to see. Now, everyone is jonesing for the A-10 Warthog, the Thunderbolt 2. I can understand that. I mean, it's not supersonic, but it's the weapon. And I mean, the weapon. You just don't get anything unless you realize what the A-10 is. It's a gun with a plane wrapped around it. And then it can carry some bombs and missiles too. But we're starting to get into newer and newer aircraft when we've already skipped over so many of the older aircraft. And that makes life a little difficult for somebody who wants to play all of the different things that are out there. Now, I love to play the A4s. To me, the A4 is probably one of the best platforms for just sheer enjoyment. You can carry a couple of bombs. Well, in this case, it can carry one 2,000 pounder. But it has a wide variety of bombs, rockets, and missiles. This is the A4E. It can carry 5 of the bullpups. 5 bullpups is pretty devastating in ground attack. And it's not a fighter. Don't ever let anyone kid you. It's not a fighter. It'll never be a fighter. It does not have the thrust to weight ratio that most fighters have. It's a generation newer than a Sabre, and a Sabre has a slightly lower thrust to weight ratio. That guy was trying to duck and weave. Took his head on. But this is the sort of thing that we really need guidance to sit down and do. Now, I've mentioned other things that they need to do. They need to work on their maps badly. Their maps are atrocious, is being polite. Downright crappy is still being polite. I'm not saying that the terrain is bad or the layout of the actual cities and rivers and such is bad. What I'm saying is they put all the targets in the wrong spot so that everyone can have some fun playing the game. But this is about oncoming aircraft for U.S. Navy. I really want to see those that want to see the gutless cutlass. They're welcome to it. It'll be a plane that'll get into the lineup, and I'll have to purchase at some point, and I'm really not going to be flying it. The Skyray, again, a plane that will get into the lineup somewhere. I'm going to have to purchase it, and depending upon how it performs, I will probably fly it. The Crusader. Yeah, we need the Crusader. The naval version of the A7. The A7E. We could use the A7E. And that was that. and the A6 intruder. I really want to see the A6 come into the game. And more weapon systems. Anti-radiation missiles. I really want to see anti-radiation missiles. I want to see the Shrike. I want to see the Harm. And if we have maps that are big enough, I want to see the Standard missile. Now, that'd be a big old sucker to hang under the wing of a plane like a intruder. I think the Brim 66 is either as large as or larger than the Tiny Tim. It's definitely more potent as far as explosive power, not to mention accuracy, speed, range. It's got everything that the Tiny Tim doesn't have, including guidance. But these are aircraft that I want to see come for the Navy. Now, yeah, I'm still looking for some for the Air Force, too. I wouldn't mind seeing the B-66 for the bomber line. We don't need anything bigger than the B-66. The B-58 Hustler would be an interesting plane, although rather limited in use, especially on the map sizes that we have. As a low-level intruder, yeah, not really. As a high-level intruder, yeah, not really. It's fast, which means it's going to be the biggest heat source in the sky. But missiles are faster. And I really don't want to see the B-58 just to see it get blown out of the sky every time it goes up. The B-66, on the other hand, think of it as a larger IL-28 or Tu-14T. Bigger bomb load and double 20mm guns in the tail. Finally, a U.S. bomber in jets that would have a tail stinger. The F-105, I really would like to see that. And not in the fighter line, in the attacker line, because it is an attacker. It's a bomber primarily. It was designed to be an intruder bomber. Actually, nuclear payload delivery bomber. It was supposed to go in fast, low, pull a pop-up maneuver to release the bomb, and then over on its back and can boogie on out in the other direction. Well, the bomb goes sailing in an arc to land where, well, to explode over the target that it was aimed at. I want to see the F-101 Voodoo. Oh, yeah. I want to see the Voodoo. I want to see the Tomcat, and I want to see the F-111 too. The F-111 would make a great bomber. I also want to see stuff like the A5 Vigilante. I think the Vigilante would make again, an unarmed bomber, no offensive weaponry, but man, could it carry a load and could it go fast. Do you realize that the Vigilante was speed restricted by NavOps for one reason? It was capable of melting its own skin at high speed, low to the ground. So it was speed restricted at certain altitudes. Not because the plane would fall apart, but because it would melt itself. Yeah. Think about that one. The aluminum skin got so soft that it deformed on the wings and on the nose. So they said, well, we better back off a little bit on the speed here, because they were hitting Mach 2.5 and better. Yeah, that was a powerful aircraft. And it had massive amounts of electronics in there for bombing alone, let alone when it became the RA-5, which was a reconnaissance bird. And it had side scan radar and all the goodies and the bells and the whistles. So that's about all I've got. Y'all have a pleasant today, a better tomorrow, and we'll catch you in the sky in Air Realistic on the good maps. Take care, folks.